The collecting banker is going to provide support to collect the bills of exchange of the customer on the maturity of the bills. A banker is not bound to collect checks and bills on behalf of the customers, and it is not a legal duty or obligation. What is the duty of the collecting banker here is nothing but here where they're going to provide service to the customers, either in the general or special services will be provided. Warm welcome to 5th Sem BBS students. The subject we're discussing banking law and practice. In our previous session, we have discussed about the meaning of bank, banker, customer, and the banker and customer relationship. In today's session, we are going to discuss about banking operations. That is nothing but the concept of collecting banker. What are the statutory protection are there, and what do you mean by older for value, older in due course? These are the main concepts what we're going to discuss in today's session. I'm Professor Rajesh L.R. from Department of Commerce and Management from Vidyashram First Grade College, Temple of Excellence, Mysuru. The today's agenda is very simple here. We're going to learn and understand the concept of meaning of collecting banker, where it will be for 2 marks question. Duties and responsibilities of collecting banker, it will be for 10 marks or it may be for 15 marks. Rights of collecting banker, it may be merged with duties, rights and responsibility. If it is like that, 15 marks. Only duties and rights means 15 marks. Next, older for value, 2 marks. Older in due course, 2 marks question. Doctrine of conversion, it may be for 10 marks. Statutory protection to collecting banker, this is for 10 marks. In these topics, any one question will be compulsory for your semester examination. So understand properly and make it benefit for your future semester exam. Introduction, this one. A banker is not bound to collect checks and bills on behalf of the customers, and it is not a legal duty or obligation. They're saying that one, it is not the duty of the banker, but every banker collects checks and bills on behalf of the customers in order to provide facility or service to the customers. Actually, it is not the duty of the banker, but only it is a support for the customer. It is an additional facility or services given by the banker to their customers, where they're going to collect the checks on behalf of the customers. They're going to collect the amount from the paying banker. In performing this function, the banker acts as an agent of the customer and is bound to use reasonable skill, care, and diligence. They are saying that when the banker is going to work as an agent for the customer on behalf of the customer, is trying to collect the amount from the corresponding bank, where they have to collect the amount of the customer's due or whatever it is that one, either in the form of check presented for the collection or bills of exchange which are presented by the customer to collect the amount. Meaning, a collecting banker is one who undertakes to collect the amount of checks and bills for his customer from the paying banker. Already I said that one, where the collecting banker is going to collect the amount from the paying banker on behalf of their customers. In other words, every crossed check is necessary to be collected through any bank who is known as collecting banker. They're saying that one, where we are going to present the crossed checks, the check which are crossed check, all these crossed checks are to be collected by the collecting banker from the paying banker. Next one, duties of collecting banker. What are the duties are? Say, the main duty is to give the service for the customer. Account management, financial products and services, financial advising, loan processing, cross-selling, compliance and regulation, and documentation and record keeping. So what is the duty of the collecting banker here is nothing but here, where they're going to provide service to the customers, either in the general or special services will be provided. Account management is nothing but they're going to manage the type of account whatever the customer has opened in the bank, either it may be SB account, current account, RD account, or fixed deposit account, whichever the account is there in the name of the customer. They're going to manage those things and support to the customer to utilize the amount whenever and wherever it is required for whatever the purpose it is required. So the collecting banker is going to support by giving additional information in the form of financial products and services like LIC, mutual fund, benefits, or market securities or market investments. These things will be discussed with the customer, and is going to provide the advice on the financial aspects, whether how much to invest and what to invest and which time they have to invest. If they invest, what is the returns will be there, what will be the ROI, and other benefit for the customer. The collecting banker is going to provide the advice to the customer, but it's the duty of the customer whether to invest or not, and whether this is the right time or not, whether the money will be safe or not. He has to take care of that one. The banker cannot take the responsibility on certain investments like market plus securities, whatever we have here. In this one, the banker cannot take the responsibility, where he can provide advice to invest and to monitor and have a control on the market plus securities and safeguard their investment. And the collecting banker is going to provide the loan facility, the debt facilities for the customer based on the requirement for the customer. They're going to provide the loan for what purpose they require the debt. If they require for the purchase of any asset for the business, that is capital asset, so then they're going to provide for acquiring the machinery or any other benefits for the business. They're going to support in the forms of providing benefit. If they want to buy any consumer durable products, they're going to support in the form of providing debt for the customers based on the credit ability of the customer. The loan will be provided for the customers. Cross-selling, compliance and regulations. The collecting banker has to check the compliances and the regulations, whether I can collect the check on behalf of this customer or not, whether the right person has deposited the check or not, whether the check is original one or not, and whether the check has been overwritten in the form of date or overwritten on the words or in the numbers. They have to check that one, or is the banker has to face the consequences in the future. So they're going to maintain documentation and record keeping here. Every information of the customer will be preserved with the banker, and every documents collected from the banker at the time of opening of bank account or providing the loan facilities for the customers, those documents will be made safeguard in future. If anything are there, so they can take the support of the documents and have the better getting the information of the detailed part of the customers. Responsibilities of collecting banker: due care and diligence in the collection of checks. They are saying that one, at the time of collecting the checks, they have to check the date, signature, and for whom the amount should be paid, whether they are written properly or not, whether it is crossed or not, and whether amounts in words and in numbers both are same or not, whether any modification has taken place in the writing of the check. They have to check each and every information. Then they have to proceed for the things. Next, serving notice of dishonor. In case if the check is dishonored, there are 17 situations are there where a check may be dishonored. In that one, 2 or 3 I'll just explain you people. When there is overwritten of the date, or when there is a mismatch between the words and the numbers, or in the date, or in the crossed one, so then if the check is dishonored, immediately they have to provide the information to the customer stating that when the check is dishonored for certain reasons, and what was the reason why they dishonored, that mention those information in the notice given to the customer. And next, agent for collection. So they have to send or hire any person where for the purpose of collecting the amount from the customer, or non-payment, or any other activities, or even for other benefits. Remittance of process to the customer means after collecting the amount from the paying banker, the duty of the collecting banker is to transfer the amount to the concerned customer account whether it may be SB account or current account. They have to transfer the amount after collecting from the paying banker to the right customer account. Collection of bills of exchange, where the collecting banker is going to provide support to collect the bills of exchange of the customer on the maturity of the bills. If it is discounted, they're going to collect the amount and they're going to get the debt, whatever the customer has to pay. In case the bills are dishonored, they're going to take action on the customer and they're going to collect the amount from the customer, not from the person has to pay the bill of exchange amount here as per the negotiable instrument act. The drawer or the drawee or the payee, if the payee is failure to pay that amount, the drawer has to pay the amount to the bank here. Rights of the collecting banker, the right of collecting charge back or refund. They're saying that when the collecting banker has a right to charge back, means in case for certain services, whatever they are providing here, they can charge on the services provided, or in some of the cases, if they are charging more, the excess amount can be refunded to the customer. They can get the benefit of. Right of item by collecting banker is that one. It is a right of the part of the collecting banker to collect all the information as well as the amount, whatever the due on behalf of the collecting banker from the paying banker. Right of depository, pay a bank to charge back or refund, even for the depositing the amount in the paying banker to the other banks, they can charge the amount. Like for example, when we are going to purchase the DD, the demand draft, they're going to collect a charge certain percentage to pay the amount to the payer banker for whom they have to pay. Right to charge back unaffected in certain cases. They're saying that when in some of the cases they have a right to charge on the transaction which has wrongly taken place, or whether the customer has made by mistakenly. It is a duty of the collecting banker to charge the service charges. Effect of failure in charge back or claim refund. Certain times the rights may be in such a way that when normally it has to be collected by the collecting banker properly information with which bank they have to collect the amount. If they failure in such cases, it is a duty of the customer to claim the refund of the charges collected by the collecting banker, and even he can claim the additional benefit from the banker for negligence or failure in collecting from the proper way or in the proper form. Holder for value. Holder for value is nothing but a collecting banker is holder for value if he gives the value for the check in any form to its customer before collecting the proceeds of the check deposited by the later. They're saying that one holder for value is nothing but a check which has been drawn for 10,000, and this 10,000 has been paid to the customer, and till this amount is collected from the paying banker, it is called as holder for value. One who gives valuable consideration for any instrument issued or negotiated to him is a holder for value. That's saying that when a promissory note, either in the form of bill or in the form of check, given to the banker, and the banker has paid that amount, in some of the cases, if they couldn't collect that amount, they can charge that service charges, otherwise they can collect the amount from the customer for the payment whatever they have made here. Not limited to one who is known to have given valuable consideration for the instrument he holds. It refers to any holder of any instrument for which value has been given at any time. They saying that one there is no limited time, and here the concept is very simple. It is related to a promissory note or a negotiable instrument part here. Either it may be bill or check or any documents which are drawn for the future dates, and where the amount is already paid by the banker, and in case of failure, so he can charge the amount for collection from the customer in full. Whatever the benefits has been given, that will be withdrawn. They're going to claim back the charge, and even they're going to get back the amount in the form of refund from the customer. When collecting banker becomes the holder for value, By lending further on the strength of the check, if the customer is regular and if there is no default in the customer name and if there is no issues for the payment for the particular customer, so then it can, that is the strength of the check as well as the value of the customer what is having in the bank. By paying the amount of the check or part or in cash or in account before it is cleared, before the clearance, if the bank transfers any amount of the said check amount, then that is called holder for value. The banker has a right here, but they have to take care of that one, whether we are paying for the right person or not. By agreeing that the customer may draw before the check is cleared. If the banker agrees and the customer can withdraw the amount even before the check is cleared. If it is not clear, the customer has to repay that amount within limited period of time. By giving cash over the counter, the check at the same time, it is deposited for the collection, where the collecting banker is going to pay the amount for the customer immediately. After paying that amount, the collecting banker is going to deposit the amount to collect the amount from the paying banker. So this process can be happen and the services given for the particular customers only. Holder in due course. A holder is a person who legally obtains a negotiable instrument with his name entitled on it to receive the payment from the parties liable. So they are saying that when a bill or a check which has been drawn on the name of the party, like Mahadev, they have written here. So it is clearly mentioned that when the name has been mentioned here, Mahadev, and it has been signed by certain party here, where they're saying that when the amount has to be given to Mahadev, right? So if they have mentioned clearly and who is liable for them, they have to pay the amount. Holder in due course is nothing but where the name of the party will be mentioned and it will be presented for the collection. Holder defined as a person who acquires the negotiable instrument in good faith for consideration before it becomes due for payment and without any idea of defective title of the party who transferred the instrument to him. They're saying that when a bill was drawn by A in the name of the B, where B has to pay the amount to A has drawn a bill on B accepted that one, that is going to pay 10,000 for him on or after 1/1/2024, but A has submitted a bill of exchange to bank and withdrawn the 10,000 amount by getting of 9,500 as the benefit here. So instead of collecting 10,000, he received 9,500 immediately. Now the holder of the name here is B, has to pay the amount to A, and this bill has been drawn by the A from the bank here, where the holder in due course, if the B doesn't pay that amount, the banker has a right to collect the amount of 10,000 from Mr. A in case of any dishonor, or the B is going to pay the amount to the bank instead of paying to the A. The person who presents the bill, for him, the amount should be paid and not the party name or the title, whatever they have written. And if it is transferred to any other party, they have to mention that for whom the title has been transferred. Collecting banker as an agent of the customer. Already I said you people that when he works as an agent on behalf of the customer, where he is going to collect the checks on behalf of the customer and where he is going to collect the payment for the customer in the form of checks or bills of exchange. So it may be outstation checks or any other amount which are due on behalf of the customer will be collected on behalf of the customer and is going to provide a service for the customer. Doctrine of conversion. Conversion is a legal term signifying wrongful interference within another person's property inconsistent with another right of possession. Conversion applies only to tangible property and not to debts. They're saying that one doctrine of conversion is nothing but only for tangible properties it can be used conversion and not for other debts whatever we have here. Tangible property is nothing but the property which we can see, touch, and feel, and not for the debts. It is only for the property can be converted and debts cannot be converted. Negotiable instruments are included in the term of property. Negotiable instruments is nothing but a check or bill of exchange. Collecting banker may charge it for conversion if he collects a check for customer having defective title to it. The collecting banker may charge it. Saying that when the collecting banker may be charged for the conversion if collects a check for customers having defective title, means a customer who is not proper, he may be insolvent, or a death of a customer has taken place here. The collecting banker failure to collect the information properly, but he has collected the amount from the paying banker. In such case, the collecting banker may be charged for the wrong process or the work done by the collecting banker without collecting any proper information. First protection we have here, collecting for a customer. The banker must collect a check or any other form of negotiable instrument. He has to check that one. First, they have to open a savings bank account or current account with the banker, and then they have to purview the term customer, and then they have, as per the services, they have to provide service to the customer. If the person doesn't have any account with the banker, you should not give the service of giving benefit of collecting the check amount and paying to the customer. When he is not a customer, so they should not give any type of services for here. The second one, the check presented by to the bank for collection should be crossed generally or specially. They're saying that when the check, whatever presented by the customer, whether it is crossed in two lines and they have written there account payee, or they can say pay only, like this, whether they are mentioned or not, they have to check that one. Then they have to make the payment. If the check is not crossed, then it's called self-check. So whether the self-check has been signed in the front of the check as well as back of the check, and even whether the same customer is only withdrawing or is given to any third party for the collection. So then they have to get the signature for whom the amount is paid on backside of the check, as well as immediately they have to collect a proper document for the person for whom they are paying. Either it may be Aadhaar card copy or any evidence they have to produce before collecting the amount from the banker. Next, in good faith, the banker is having always good faith on the customer. So based on that, he may make the payment here. Sometimes he should be very careful that when the payment was made on the faith of the customer's involvement in the process, and he was a genuine person here, but by mistakenly certain issues has taken place, so then you can get the benefited for that one, or else the banker has to face the consequences. Without negligence, in common terms, negligence means failure to take proper care over something. In legal terms, breach of duty care which results in damage. On undertaking to collect a check from customer, if the collecting banker fails to exercise without care or in fixing the ownership of the customer on the check, is said to be negligent on his duty. If that he has not seen the check properly, like for example, from which account they're collecting, whether the person is having the account in the right person name or not. Like for example, they say that when Mukesh, here it has been signed here, but normally the customer will be calling by him from with other name called Raj or Mohan something. So suddenly they, or Mohan check, clear that one. Actually, it was in the name of the Mukesh where they're collecting the amount here. So now they have to check that one on which party the check was issued, who has signed that one, for whom the payment has to be made or not. They have to check. Then only the banker will get the support here. Agent for collection, already I said that one. He works as an agent on behalf of the customer to collect the check or bills of exchange as per section 131 of the Act. In today's session, we learned clearly what is the statutory protections are there for the collecting banker, and even what are the rights, duties, and obligations of the collecting banker. Namaste to all 5th Sem BBA students. Go through the concept and write your examination with easily, and you can clear your semester exams. So thank you to all.